Hi, I'm Josephine, and I'm going to take you through an extremely effective behavior modification technique called gradual exposure therapy that you can use in your everyday life to help overcome a fear of public speaking. Feeling anxious speaking in front of a group is very common, and actually having a bit of anxiety helps us to perform at our best. However, many people find themselves limited in both their professional and personal lives by an extreme and irrational fear of public speaking, a social phobia called glossophobia. Now, we naturally try to avoid or escape the things that we're afraid of, but by continuing to avoid them, we stay afraid. And fear is a very healthy and natural response in truly dangerous situations, like if you were to encounter a snake during a bushwalk, for example. However, it's not so useful when we let an intense fear of public speaking stand in our way of making meaningful contributions in meetings, sharing our ideas in presentations, or social connection. The great news is that gradual exposure therapy can help you to remove these limitations. And the best predictor of success with this form of therapy is your motivation to succeed, not your level of fear. Positive change is in your control. So how does gradual exposure therapy work, and how can you apply it to yourself? Well, gradual exposure therapy, as the name suggests, is really about providing those opportunities for you to gradually expose yourself to those situations that evoke a fear response, and then to stay in the situation until your anxiety diminishes. Now, this will happen naturally because our sympathetic nervous system can only sustain the fight or flight response for a certain amount of time. The difficult part is choosing to stay in the situation, to stay with the discomfort. So it's really important that you take gradual steps from easiest to hardest to set yourself up for success. The 4 components of gradual exposure therapy that I will go through in a bit more detail are self-assessment, creating an exposure hierarchy, gradual exposure practice, and maintenance. Now, self-assessment is about getting really clear on what it is that you are afraid of. What is it about public speaking that makes you feel so anxious and makes you feel fearful? And how does it show up? Typically, fear of public speaking is associated with the perception of negative social evaluation, the fear of being judged by others. And this might show up for you in a wide variety of situations, including meetings or attending networking events. It is helpful to be as clear and specific as you can be. Being really clear and able to define your fear will allow you to take the next step, which is to create an exposure hierarchy. Now, you start by identifying a variety of specific fear-provoking situations, and you rank them using the subjective units of discomfort, or SUD scale, from 0 to 100, with 0 being complete absence of fear or anxiety, and 100 being the most extreme level of fear. Now, this will form the foundation of your personal gradual exposure treatment plan. And for your treatment plan to have the best probability of success, ideally you should have at least 10 levels in your exposure hierarchy, with no more than 10 SUDS points between each level. And at the bottom of the hierarchy, you would have a situation that you're least afraid of. For example, making a contribution during a small meeting with 2 or 3 other colleagues that you already have a good working relationship with. And you might give that a SUDS rating of 10. Now, working progressively up the scale, your ultimate goal, which would have a SUDS rating of 100, might look something like giving a major presentation to the entire leadership team of your organization. Now, once you've got your exposure hierarchy, it is time to step into practice and gradually start to expose yourself to the fear-producing situations. You start at the bottom with the least scary scenario, and you keep practicing at this level until you start to feel comfortable and you feel ready to move up. Now, make sure that you practice regularly, ideally on a daily basis. But the most important thing is to stay in the situation until your anxiety naturally decreases. This teaches you that your anxiety will naturally go down by itself. Once you feel comfortable at the first level, it is time to move up to the next level, and you'll move up level by level until you reach the top. Reward yourself along the way to acknowledge the courage and commitment it takes to face your fear, to celebrate what you've achieved so far, and to help yourself to stay motivated. Enlist your social network to help provide positive reinforcement, like praise and feedback, to help you keep showing up and to keep improving. Finally, don't stop. To overcome your fear, you need to practice. You need to stay match fit. Just like a top athlete who shows up for practice the day after winning a major tournament, you need to keep showing up to stay warmed up, ready to play, and ready for the next opportunity to speak up. That way, you will continue to build your confidence and strengthen your new mindset each and every time you speak in public. You can do this, and I wish you all the very best.